Can you imagine calling the police over a joke? After I processed the fact that someone actually called the police on me, and believe it or not, this has never happened to me in my life, I couldn't help but tweet back. I wrote, "Officer, I'd like to report a joke." It's hard to believe, but here we are. The woman behind this, as you may recall, is the same one who has pushed fringe conspiracy theories and repeatedly shown support for the idea of executing prominent Democratic politicians. Now she's dialing 911 because she got made fun of on TV. Keep wearing that mask of irony, I suppose. Senator Cruz even jumped in on this drama, replying to something that wasn't directed at him. It's bizarre how 535 members of Congress can attend the State of the Union maskless, and still, it's apparently not good enough for Hollywood. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who once called people snowflakes, ended up calling the Capitol Police because of a late-night joke. I simply turned her own words against her, and the result was funnier and more brutal than I could have hoped for. And wait until you hear how this little feud turned into an internet sensation. But first, if you enjoy stories like this one, do me a favor. Like this video and hit subscribe. Over 98% of you watch without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it helps us a ton. Clicked it? Great, thank you. Now back to this ridiculous saga. Picture picking up the phone, not because your neighbor's dog won't stop barking or you saw a break-in, but because a comedian made a joke about you. Sounds like an episode of a bad sitcom, right? But this is real life. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene decided that a punchline from Jimmy Kimmel was the line she wouldn't cross. Apparently, she might be the first person ever to claim, "I need backup. Someone told a joke on TV." So how did this all begin? During one of my monologues, I riffed on MTG's constant drama. She had just accused 3 Republican senators, Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowski, and Susan Collins, of being pro-pedophile because they supported Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's Supreme Court nomination. On our show, I mentioned how she called them that, and then added, "Where's Will Smith when you really need him?" It was a nod to the now infamous Oscar slap, quick, topical, and meant to highlight her wild rhetoric. But instead of brushing it off like most public figures do when comedians poke fun at them, Greene escalated. She filed a report with the Capitol Police. Yes, she really called the authorities over a clear joke. And this is the same person who loves to shout about the snowflake left being too sensitive. The irony here just writes itself. For context, this is the same congresswoman who once suggested that wildfires were caused by Jewish space lasers. She's also the one who famously confused the Nazi Gestapo with gazpacho soup, giving comedians a gift that keeps on giving. When someone with that colorful track record suddenly acts like a single joke is too far, you can't help but laugh at the contradiction. But she didn't stop there. Greene posted on Twitter, claiming that my joke was a threat of violence. She wrote, "This threat of violence against me by Jimmy Kimmel has been filed with the Capitol Police." She really called the police. So, what happens when someone with a highlight reel of strange statements tries to pick a fight with a late-night comedian? I didn't just leave it at one tweet. I devoted an entire segment to this. I reminded everyone exactly who we were. Dealing with the same person who warned us about gazpacho police and Jewish space lasers. I turned her words into jokes that basically wrote themselves like, were the space lasers powered by Americans rolling their eyes? Is there a cold soup? Confiscation unit waiting to bust down our doors? The audience couldn't stop laughing. Then I turned to her book, titled MTG. It sounds like a knockoff tech company, but it's her autobiography. I joked it was the first book she'd ever written and the first book she'd ever read. I even speculated it was probably full of revisionist history, conspiracy rants, and of course, her secret recipe for gazpacho police stew. Critics already tore the book apart, and that only gave me more material. The more I highlighted her greatest hits, the clearer it became. Here's someone who calls everyone else snowflakes but can't handle a punchline on late-night TV. She loves claiming she's a champion of free speech until she's the punchline. Then she calls the cops. It's like waving a white flag in a comedy club. If jokes are that threatening, what strength are you really showing? The audience laughed, but they got the point. The meltdown exposed her more than anything I said ever could. And the internet? Oh, they ran with it. As soon as my segment aired, memes popped up faster than Greene could tweet. One viral image showed her with a speech bubble. Jewish space lasers, fine. A comedy monologue? That's my limit. Another meme turned her gazpacho police mix-up into a fake supermarket aisle called the Gazpacho Registry, with my name highlighted like it was some dystopian grocery list. Someone even ran with my budget Riddler nickname for her. They made fake Batman villain letters with goofy riddles poking fun at her complaints. TikTok creators jumped in too, acting out skits of Green dramatically calling the police over a single TV joke. Subreddits, meme pages, and every corner of Twitter piled on, showing that nothing spreads faster than a joke about hypocrisy. The more she tried to control the story by acting outraged, the funnier it got for everyone watching. It wasn't about politics for most people. It was about the absurdity of seeing someone who pushes outlandish conspiracies claiming to be a victim of a one-liner. The internet's creativity turned her attempt at damage control into comedic gold. By the end, what was the result? Her police complaint didn't silence me. It handed me an entire week of material and turned her into a walking punchline. If she thought calling the cops would keep people from laughing at her, she did not know the internet very well. Instead, she cemented herself as an example of how to become an even bigger target for jokes by overreacting to a harmless jab. So next time you hear someone yelling about free speech while also trying to report jokes to the police, just remember this saga. It proves that once the memes start, there's no controlling where the laughter goes. And for a comedian, that's the best punchline of all.